Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really try and crack open source material to find those surprising bits of knowledge, things that help us feel well-informed. Today, we're embarking on, well, quite an exploration, looking into some profound spiritual texts. We'll be diving into the nature of Christ, this compelling call to joy, and also that sometimes tricky concept of newness versus oldness in faith. And maybe in life, too, our sources. It's a really potent mix. Readings from Colossians, the Psalms, John, Luke, and also a modern spiritual reflection, which ties things together nicely. And our mission really is to uncover key insights about transformation, spiritual growth, and how this ancient wisdom still speaks to us. How open are we to change? Okay, let's unpack this and see what surfaces. So we kick things off with a vision that's just, wow, truly cosmic. It's from Colossians 1, verses 15 to 20. And right away, it sets this incredibly grand stage for understanding Christ. It starts by saying Christ Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation.
The firstborn?
Yeah, but it's not just saying he's a first. It goes on to claim that in him were created all things in heaven and on earth, the visible and the invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him.
That's such a comprehensive statement, isn't it? It covers literally everything.
It really is, from the tiniest thing to, galaxies, spiritual hierarchies, everything. And then almost to underline his constant role, it says, he is before all things, and in him all things hold together.
Yeah. Holds together, not just created, but sustained.
Exactly. It paints this picture of a foundational, all-encompassing presence. Not just at the start, but like right now, always.
What's fascinating here is precisely that. The sheer scope and scale of this understanding of Christ. These aren't just, nice poetic lines. They're really dense foundational theological claims. The text is positioning Christ not just as, say, a historical figure, but as the cosmic orchestrator.
Right.
He's not just the one who started creation, but the one who sustains it.
Right.
Who actively holds everything together now.
That gives his presence this huge significance.
Absolutely. Monumental cosmic significance. It touches every corner of reality. And when it says that in all things he himself might be preeminent, well, that means top rank, supreme position. In everything, creation, the church.
Which is called his body here.
Exactly. And all the fullness was pleased to dwell in him. That suggests a complete, total divine presence. Nothing held back.
Wow.
And this whole powerful section builds up to his ultimate act.
Yeah.
Reconciliation. It says, through him to reconcile all things for him, making peace by the blood of his cross.
Which is just immense.
Through him, whether those on earth or those in heaven. That's the core message. His work isn't just for us humans. It's for the entire cosmos.
Bringing peace and harmony.
Through his sacrifice, yes. It really challenges us, doesn't it, to see maybe a deeper order, even when things look chaotic or broken. Suggests a kind of unifying force underneath it all.
That's an incredibly powerful way to think about Christ's role. Genesis and the glue, holding existence together, moment by moment. It does make you wonder, though. If he is holding all things together, what about those times, historically or personally, when everything feels like it's just falling apart? Does it suggest there's some hidden order even then? Or maybe a constant divine engagement that we just don't see, beyond just the initial setup?
It certainly invites that kind of reflection, doesn't it? On divine providence, on active sustenance. It suggests that even when things seem chaotic to us, there might be an underlying coherence, a divine hand still at work. And maybe that offers some stability, a sense of purpose when things feel uncertain, implying reconciliation isn't just a one-off event, but this ongoing process, leading somewhere, restoration.
Okay, and then it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? After that huge declaration of cosmic power and reconciliation, we get the Alleluia verse from John 8:0. It says, I am the light of the world, says the Lord. Whoever follows me will have the light of life. Yeah. We just heard about an invisible God who orchestrates and sustains everything. So why the shift to light? What's that symbolizing? How does light connect to that cosmic power?
That's a really good question. Light here.
Yeah.
It's not just about seeing, is it? It's a massive biblical metaphor. It stands for revelation, for truth, guidance, pushing back the darkness, spiritually speaking. So if Christ is the image of the invisible God, then he's the one who makes the invisible visible, makes the unknowable knowable in a sense.
He illuminates the path.
Exactly. Brings clarity, understanding where there was maybe ignorance or confusion. So following him means stepping out of our own limited viewpoint, our own shadows, and into the brightness of his cosmic reconciling truth.
Gaining the light of life.
Which means spiritual vitality, real insight.
Okay, so we've gone from this immense, unifying power creator, sustainer, reconciler, and seen how that leads to truth, to light, to guidance. But how does that huge cosmic reality actually, land in our personal day-to-day lives? Our sources seem to shift now to something deeply personal, emotional even, an invitation to joy, thanksgiving. The responsorial psalm, Psalm 100, it's so vibrant, almost like an energetic command to praise.
It really is.
It tells us, sing joyfully to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful song. And that refrain, come with joy into the presence of the Lord. It pulls you in.
It's infectious, like you said.
And it doesn't just leave it there. It tells us why we should be joyful. It grounds it right in who we are. Know that the Lord is God. He made us we are his people, the flock he tends.
Our very identity.
Exactly. And crucially, his character. For he is good, the Lord, whose kindness endures forever and his faithfulness to all generations.
That enduring kindness forever.
It's a complete picture, isn't it? Why we should feel this gladness.
And if we connect this back, like you said, to that bigger picture, Christ's reconciling work, well, this kind of joy, this thanksgiving, it just flows naturally from that, doesn't it?
It seems like it should.
The experience of being created, held together, reconciled by this magnificent, faithful presence. It really shouldn't lead anywhere but joy. But let's be honest, that deep, transformative joy, the kind where mourning literally turns into dancing, that's not always our immediate feeling, is it, in a world with so much suffering?
No, definitely not always.
So this psalm, and maybe the whole spiritual path, it encourages us to perhaps cultivate that joy, not just a surface happiness, but a deep response to that constant, enduring divine kindness, that faithfulness that spans generations.
Oh, cultivating it. Okay.
Yeah, and our second source, that modern reflection, reinforces this. They quote Psalm 30, verse 11. You've turned my mourning into dancing. You have taken off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy.
That's beautiful.
It is. And it suggests this isn't just feeling a bit better. It's like a profound spiritual alchemy.
Yeah.
Changing our very state, offering hope, celebration, even when things are tough.
Right. But how? How do these ancient texts really encourage us to cultivate that kind of joy, especially when life feels more like, sackcloth than dancing? Is it just about shifting how we look at things, or is there like an active practice involved?
I think it's absolutely both. The Psalms, again and again, they invite us to remember God's goodness, his faithfulness, even when things look bleak.
Remember.
So cultivating joy isn't about pretending the pain isn't there. It's more about grounding ourselves in a truth that's bigger than the immediate situation. The truth that we are made, intended, and loved by a God whose kindness endures forever.
That perspective shift.
Exactly. It's a conscious act of remembering, of gratitude, acknowledging that underlying order, that reconciliation, even if our personal experience feels like disorder right now. And that active practice, that remembering, it shifts our focus away from what's missing, maybe, towards what is always enduringly present.
Okay, so we've seen the cosmic scale. We've touched on the deep, cultivated joy it can inspire. But to really get there, to embrace that joy and the newness Christ brings, our sources suggest we have to face something very human first.
Resistance.
Yeah, a resistance to change. And this is exactly what Jesus gets into in Luke's gospel. He introduces this tension, this kind of clash between the old ways and something radically new. The scene is set, right?
Yeah.
Scribes and Pharisees, the establishment figures, steeped in tradition.
Deeply steeped.
And they're questioning Jesus about his disciples. Basically, why aren't they following the rules? They point out, the disciples of John the Baptist fast often and offer prayers, but yours eat and drink.
Gets a challenge. Almost an accusation.
Yeah.
Not pious enough.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting. Jesus responds with these analogies that really push against our comfort zones.
Exactly. His first response uses this wedding feast analogy.
Yeah.
It seems simple at first. He asks them, can you make the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them?
Implying, now's the party.
Pretty much. He says, but the days will come, and when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast in those days. So the metaphor is crucial. It contrasts this time of huge celebration, Jesus' presence, the bridegroom, with a future time of mourning, fasting when he's gone.
He's saying context matters.
Right. Now is the time for joy, for new things. Don't just cling to old practices because you always have. But he doesn't just leave it at that. He pivots. He goes from that direct answer to these two really powerful parables about the incompatibility of old and new.
The cloak and the wineskins.
Yeah. First, the cloak. No one tears a piece from a new cloak to patch an old one. Why not? Otherwise, he will tear the new, and the piece from it will not match the old cloak.
Right, just makes a mess of both.
Exactly. It's not just about looks, it's about substance. You can't force something new with its own integrity onto an old, worn-out structure without damaging both. The new, strong patch rips the weak old fabric. The garment ends up worse.
Okay. And then the wineskins.
Then comes the really famous one. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, he says, the new wine will burst the skins and it will be spilled and the skins will be ruined.
A total loss.
Total loss. Rather, new wine must be poured into fresh wineskins. Now, the practical reason for this would have been obvious to everyone listening back then.
Fermentation, right?
Exactly. New wine is still fermenting. It produces gases. It expands. If you put that active, expanding wine into old wineskins, skins that are already stretched out, rigid, lost their elasticity, yeah, the pressure will burst them. You absolutely need fresh, pliable wineskins that can stretch and adapt with the new wine.
So this isn't just a handy tip for winemakers.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's a powerful metaphor for spiritual transformation. It shows how rigid structures, whether that's traditions, mindsets, even parts of our own hearts, they just can't contain the dynamic, expansive newness of God's work. They break.
That is such a vivid image. Old leather cracking under pressure. And what's so striking after he gives these powerful images, newness needs new containers, is his final comment. It's almost an aside about human nature. He says, and no one who has been drinking old wine desires new, for he says, the old is good.
That one hits home, doesn't it?
It really does. It speaks volumes about our deep-seated comfort in the familiar, our sort of inherent resistance to change, even if the new thing might actually be better or necessary.
Yeah, it's so true.
It makes me think beyond just spiritual stuff, like trying to run brand new software on a computer from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or, insisting on using a map when everyone else has GPS. We all have those old wineskins we cling to, don't we? In all sorts of areas.
Absolutely.
It's not always that the old is truly better, but it's known, it's comfortable, predictable.
Absolutely. That final observation is
Gust.
It's profound because it nails a fundamental psychological truth. Our brains love routine, efficiency. The old is good because, frankly, it takes less energy, less adaptation, less risk, less uncertainty.
We settle.
We tend to settle for what's familiar, predictable, even if it might be limiting us, holding us back from something richer, more expansive. And like you said, this isn't just about religious rituals. It applies to any big shift. New relationships, career changes, new ways of thinking. That comfort of the old wine can be incredibly strong.
So how do we bridge this, bringing these ancient parables right into our world now? What's the immediate takeaway for us today? What does it mean practically? These parables, they just echo so strongly in that contemporary reflection we mentioned.
They really do.
The reflection says it outright. Jesus reminds us that life with him is not about clinging to old ways, but being open to the newness of God's grace.
Straight connection.
Yeah, it ties directly back. Just as new wine needs fresh wineskins, our hearts must be renewed to receive his Spirit fully. It's really a call to look inside, isn't it? To check our own sort of spiritual flexibility.
It absolutely is. And this takes the whole discussion right into the personal realm. Spiritual renewal, right here, right now. The reflection is pretty clear that holding on to past habits or rigid traditions can prevent us from experiencing God's transforming love.
Barriers we put up ourselves.
Often unconsciously.
Yeah.
It's not just about, external rules or historical dogma. It's about our inner setup, our ingrained patterns, our comfort zones, the assumptions we never question. These can become the very old wineskins that stop the new dynamic work of the Spirit from really expanding inside us.
So true discipleship means being willing to change.
That's how it's defined here, yes.
Yeah.
It invites us to embrace change and let Christ make all things new. And notice the word invites. It's not forced.
But it's an active thing, maybe uncomfortable.
Can be very uncomfortable. It's an invitation to let go. And, this raises an important question for our daily lives, a question the reflection puts directly to us, to you listening. What old habit or attachment can I let go of today so that I can make space for God's new work in me?
Wow.
That's direct.
It is. It's a call to actively look at those old wineskins in our own hearts, our own minds, and start preparing for something fresh, something transformative.
That's a really challenging question, though, and vital. It's one thing to talk about old wineskins abstractly, but what are some real ways we can start to first even identify them? And then, gently or maybe not so gently, let go of those habits or attachments or ways of thinking that might be holding us back.
That's the hard part, isn't it? It often starts with just Honest self-awareness. Really paying attention. It could be what way we think about ourselves, maybe a negative pattern, or a judgment we hold about others.
Or even how we pray. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe a way we've always prayed that just feels dry now, stagnant, or even just being so comfortable in our routines that we never try anything new spiritually, never venture out.
Okay.
The prayer from the source material sums up the desire beautifully. Lord, renew my heart and make me open to the fresh work of your Spirit. Free me from clinging to what is old and lifeless.
Asking for help to let go.
Exactly. It's a prayer for courage, really, for flexibility, for the grace to release what doesn't serve our growth anymore, to actually make room for God's active presence to make things new inside us.
What an incredible arc we've covered today, seriously. From the sheer cosmic grandeur of Christ, creator, sustainer, reconciler,
Mind-boggling scale.
to the overflowing joy that should spring from that work, and then landing right on this very practical, deeply personal challenge. Embracing newness. We've seen how these profound texts really call us to maybe shed those old habits, those rigid ways, to make space for fresh grace, like needing new, pliable wineskins for new wine. It's just such a powerful reminder, isn't it? That embracing change, actively letting go of those old wineskins, whether they're habits, thoughts, even comforts, can genuinely open us up to a richer experience of faith and maybe just life itself.
A necessary step for growth.
Yeah. So maybe as you go about your day, just consider, how often do we unconsciously default to the old is good, not just spiritually, but, in our routines, our opinions, how we approach problems.
That default setting.
What possibilities, what fresh insights, maybe what transformative experiences are we potentially missing out on? Just because we're not seeking out those fresh wineskins for new information, new opportunities. Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making space for what's truly new.